Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of solar system. In part 1 we had learned about the sun, we had learned about the internal planets. Now today in this class we'll be learning about the second set of planets known as the external planets or the gas giants. So when talking about the gas giants, it's important to talk about the composition of them. So as the name suggests, gas giants are made up of nothing but gases. Now let's move on. Now first gas giant and the largest gas giant, which makes it the largest planet in the solar system, is Jupiter. Jupiter, again, as I said, it's a gas giant and therefore has no sort of solid surface. Now, Jupiter has a unique characteristic. It has a red spot, which is made up of storms and cyclones. So, this red spot is made up of storms and cyclones. Now, this Jupiter has a revolution period of about 12 years. It means that it takes 12 years to complete its revolution around the sun. Now, again, Jupiter has about 79 identified moons. It's a very huge number, I guess. Now we have Jupiter, which takes about 10 hours to complete its rotation along its own axis. So that means that it takes about 10 hours to complete its rotation on its own axis. That means that a day on Jupiter lasts about 10 hours. Now we have Saturn. I like to call Saturn the beautiful and the elegant planet. Why? Because it has rings which it likes to show off. So these rings are made up of ice. Even though the other gas giants do have rings around them, they're not as visible as the rings of Saturn. So the rings of Saturn are made up of ice. Now Saturn is a second gas giant, which makes it the second largest planet in the solar system. It's the sixth planet from the sun. So let's recap. The closest planet was Mercury. Then we have Venus. Then we have Earth. We have Mars, Jupiter, and now we have Saturn. Now, Saturn is again a gas giant and therefore it does not have any sort of solid surface around it. It has a revolution period of 29 years. It takes 29 years to revolve around the sun. Now, it has 82 identified moons. Now, as of 2019, there were only 62 identified moons, and in 2019, NASA's Cassini spacecraft discovered that there were 20 more moons which was orbiting Saturn. As of now, the number has increased to 82. So Saturn has 82 identified moons at the moment. Now, a day on Saturn is approximately 11 hours. It takes Saturn 11 hours to complete its rotation on its own orbit. Now, as I said, Saturn has rings made of ice. Now, Uranus. Now we move on to Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet from the sun, and it's a gas giant, and therefore it has no sort of solid surface. It has a revolution period of 84 years. It takes 84 years to complete its revolution around the sun. Now, it has 27 identified moons. It has 13 rings. As I said, all gas giants have rings around them, but the rings of Saturn are the most visible. Now, as I said, Uranus has 27 identified moons, and it has 13 rings surrounding it, which are made up of dust. The rings of Uranus are made up of dust, while the rings of Saturn are made up of ice. It is a very cold planet because it is situated further away from the sun, and therefore it receives less amount of heat and light from the sun. Now we have the last and the furthest planet from the sun, which is Neptune. Neptune is the windiest and the coldest planet. Why? Because it is situated furthest away from the sun, and therefore it receives very less amount of heat and light. Again, it is a gas giant and therefore no sort of solid surface. It has 5 rings surrounding it, has a revolution period of 164 Earth years. Takes 164 Earth years to complete one revolution around the sun. It has 14 identified moons. So with that, we come to an end to the lecture about solar system. But before I end, I would like to also talk about some other celestial bodies such as asteroids, comets, meteors and meteorites, and artificial satellites. So asteroids are nothing but rocky planetary bits that again orbit the sun. Comets are heavenly bodies that revolve around the sun. Meteors and meteorites are brief streak of light caused by a meteorite. And artificial satellites are man-made objects which are sent into space from the Earth, such as Edisat, INSAT, and so on. So with that, we come to an end to this lecture. And thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.